150 Ukrainian defenders returned back home from Russian captivity. This was announced by President Zelenskyy on his Telegram channel. He stated that those released included soldiers, sergeants, and officers from different branches of the armed forces, as well as National Guardsmen, border guards, and one police officer. Also among them are those who defended Mariupol and the Zaporizhia region. Some of the Ukrainians were held in Russian captivity for more than 2 years.
Слава Україні!
Ukraine started using 450-kilo US-supplied glide bombs that are fitted with a JDAM guidance kit. This was revealed on the Ukrainian Air Force Telegram page on Friday last week. Footage shows the Ukrainian Su-27 fighter jet launching an airstrike on Russian positions for the first time. OSINT specialists have identified the bomb being launched as an Mk-83 with a special range extension kit latched on. The Mark 83 is a US general-purpose bomb loaded with 450 kilos of explosives. When outfitted with a JDAM extended range guidance kit, it transforms from a dumb bomb to a glide bomb, a precision-guided munition with an extended range of up to 72 kilometers. Another successful strike on oil infrastructure in Russia, this time in the Krasnodar region. According to the head of the Ukrainian Center for Countering Disinformation, the targeted facility Albashneft is part of a refinery capable of processing up to 320,000 tons of crude oil annually. It produces straight-run gasoline, diesel, and fuel oil, which are supplied to the Russian armed forces. The governor of the Krasnodar region confirmed the attack, stating that a drone fragment struck a fuel storage tank, triggering a fire. The Albashneft oil depot is located in the village of Novominskaya, approximately 250 kilometers from the front lines of Ukraine. Ukraine is open to cooperation with partners in developing its minerals sector. This was reported by President Zelenskyy, responding to President Trump's remarks on Ukraine's rare earth resources. He noted that investments, particularly in this sphere, is one of the points of Ukraine's victory plan.
We are open to the fact that this can be developed with our partners who help us defend our land and push the enemy back with their weapons, their presence and sanctions packages. And this is absolutely fair. I spoke about this back in September when I had a meeting with President Trump in New York. I told him that we were open to investments from American companies.
Zelenskyy also warned that if Russia gains control over these resources, other countries such as Iran or North Korea could gain access to them. Approximately 8,000 North Korean troops continue to operate on the front lines in Russia's Kursk region, despite recent reports suggesting their withdrawal. In an interview with the War Zone, the head of Ukraine's defense intelligence, Kirill Budanov, mentioned that while their combat activity has decreased in recent days, the PRK forces remain engaged. He noted that it takes time to see if there are actual changes or if this is just a temporary reduction in activity. The British Foreign Secretary David Lammy arrived in Kyiv on Wednesday, where he was met at the railway station by the Ukrainian ambassador to the UK, Valery Zaluzhny. While in the capital, Lammy is set to meet with President Zelenskyy as well as members of the Cabinet of Ministers. During his visit, he also announced new UK support.
Today I'm announcing a further £55 million of UK support to Ukraine to help boost resilience and growth in both of our countries and economies.
These funds will be allocated to continue the supply of Ukrainian grain and other food products to Syria, innovative energy projects, assistance in rebuilding Ukrainian businesses, and support for family and community services. Russian forces have suffered approximately 300 to 350,000 deaths, with an additional 50 to 70,000 missing in action. This number was released by President Zelenskyy in an interview with Piers Morgan. He further estimated that 600 to 700,000 Russian soldiers have been wounded.
The ratio is such that for every dead Russian, there are 2 wounded because their field medicine is inferior to ours, and they do not bring back the wounded. If they are lost in the battlefield, they remain there. I think these figures are roughly accurate, and I'm very close to the reality.
In the same interview, Zelenskyy also reported on the casualties among Ukrainian military, saying that 45,100 defenders have been killed since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion. He also noted 390,000 cases of wounded personnel.
We know precisely every life lost or wounded. For us, every life is very important. Today we have 45,100 killed and about 390,000 cases of injuries. I clarify here, cases of injuries is a larger number than the actual number of wounded individuals because some people were injured more than once and returned to battle. So approximately 390,000 injury cases, with the actual number of wounded being slightly lower.
Ukraine aims to create unmanned regiments in its army system, reported the Minister of Defense Rustem Umerov on Wednesday. In a Facebook post, he highlighted that the unmanned systems will see a boost in development this year, as they prove effective at saving servicemen lives. In 2024, tests show that various unmanned ground vehicles can effectively perform important tasks such as demining, evacuation, and offer fire support. The ministry also noted that the biggest supplier of UGVs is the Ukrainian in-house market. According to the Ukrainian High Command, this step will create a technological advantage over Russia in order to win the war. A special tribunal for the crime of aggression against Ukraine will be created within the framework of the Council of Europe. Once operational, the tribunal will have the authority to prosecute Russian political and military leaders bearing the highest responsibility for the invasion in Ukraine.
It is clear that crime of aggression is a leadership crime, so without the crime of aggression there wouldn't be any war crimes either. Therefore, it's extremely important that there is also accountability for the crime of aggression. No one from Russia, no one from Russia's leadership is untouchable.
On Tuesday, legal experts from Ukraine, the European Commission, the European External Action Service, and the Council of Europe, along with 37 states around the world, laid down the legal foundations for the formation of the tribunal, including key elements of its statute.
Why is it so important? It is clearly important for the support to Ukraine. But it is also important because we must choose in which world we want to live, on which continent we want to live. We, our children, and also the future generations. Do we want to live in a world where force, violence, destruction, and impunity will prevail? Or do we want to live in a world where rule of law, peaceful relations, and accountability will predominate? It is exactly the question, and it is why it is so important to make this step while organizing a special tribunal for addressing the crime of aggression from Russia in Ukraine.
An Azerbaijani passenger plane flying from Baku to Grozny likely crashed due to extensive hull damage caused by external objects. An investigation team led by Kazakhstan stated that they aren't pointing any fingers yet, as they aim to help avoid similar tragedies in the future. However, Reuters reported that Azerbaijani investigators recovered a fragment from the aircraft which was identified as belonging to a Russian Pantsir S air defense missile. Reports of a Russian air defense system taking the passenger plane down by mistake immediately appeared following the crash in December. A few days after the tragedy, Azerbaijan's president stated that while the plane was near Grozny in Russian territory, something damaged its hull and electronic warfare interference made it unsteerable. The aircraft attempted to divert, but ultimately crashed near Aktau International Airport in Kazakhstan. Following this, Uzbekistan Airways started rerouting its flights, avoiding Russian airspace due to the fatal crash which killed 38 people.